Hi, my name's Leo, and in this video we're going to be comparing the £400 PS5 to my £400 gaming PC. We're going to be comparing the form factor, performance, games and special features, and some of these comparisons may surprise you. So if you're currently in the market for a £400 gaming system but can't make your mind up, hopefully this video will be useful. So over in the left corner we have the PS5 Slim, released in 2020 and currently still retailing for around £400. And over in the right corner we have my Facebook Marketplace gaming PC with an RTX 3060 Ti, Ryzen 5 5500 and 32GB of RAM, which I only paid £400 for. So starting with form factor, let's keep this simple. PS5 small, PC big, very big. And this drastic size difference reflects the intended use case for these systems. For example, the typical PS5 user will tuck their console away beside their TV and game from the sofa, whereas the quintessential PC enthusiast will typically build a whole desk setup around their gaming rig, with monitor arms, mouse pads, audio interfaces and cheese graters. So I guess the real question is, do you want to become the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Bear Grylls with the ability to game as long as you've got line of sight of the TV?
It's to drink my own pee.
Now in terms of specs, a PC and a PS5 are not the easiest things to directly compare, but there are a few comparisons we can make. Now in terms of CPU, both the PS5 and my PC are AMD based. The PS5 has an 8-core Zen 2 based processor, whereas this rig has a Ryzen 5 5500, which is down on cores, it's only got 6 cores, but it is a newer generation Zen 3, and they'll probably be trading blows depending on the game. Now in terms of RAM, this is where the comparison gets murky. Now on the PC side of things, RAM can be upgraded cheaply and easily. This system currently has 32GB of DDR4, but on the other hand the PS5 has a slightly different configuration. It has 16GB of non-upgradable GDDR6 memory, which is shared between the system and the graphics. This is unlike the PC side of things, where the graphics card tends to have its own pool of memory. Anyway, speaking of graphics cards, as I mentioned, my PC currently has an RTX 3060 Ti, which is a very popular mid-range card from about 4 years ago. Whereas the PS5 doesn't actually have a standard consumer GPU, but after a quick Google search, the closest thing to what's in the PS5 is the RX 6700, and according to a quick search on ChatGPT, the RTX 3060 Ti is between 5 and 15% faster than the RX 6700. Now in terms of storage, they're both pretty much identical. They both come with a terabyte NVMe SSD. In 2023, Sony made a good decision to increase the storage of the PlayStation 5 to 1 terabyte from that weird 850GB nonsense when they released the PS5 Slim. I wish Sony could make more good decisions like Bloodborne 2. Anyway, it is worth mentioning how much more upgradable the PC is than the PlayStation 5. There's basically no scope for upgrading the PS5 apart from slapping an extra SSD in it, or buying gold panels from Temu to slap on the side. So we've had a look at the theoretical power of both these systems. Now it's time to look at the real world gaming performance. Anyway, to cut this section short, the performance really varies. For example, let's take Silent Hill 2 Remaster, a horribly optimized UE5 game that's actually pretty fun. So here's it running on the PS5 at an unstable 60 frames per second in performance mode, and look how horrible and smeary those puddles are. It's a bit of a tangent, but the other day I was playing Half-Life 2 and the reflections in that 20-year-old game look clearer than this. Anyway, if you can overlook the smeary graphics and unstable frame rate using a VRR display, then the overall experience is okay. Just quickly, if you are enjoying this video and you want to support the channel, be sure to drop us a like and consider subscribing. We've just hit 10,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Now let's switch over to the £400 gaming PC. So we're in Silent Hill 2 Remastered on the lowest settings, and do you notice that? Look closer. So on Silent Hill's low preset, the puddles on PC look a lot better than the PS5 puddles. So that means that the PS5 must be running the game at lower settings than the lowest settings available to the PC. Interesting. So we've established that the PC version looks better visually, but how does it perform? So this is where things get interesting. So the PC version for me ran really badly. I experienced a lot of stuttering that just wasn't present on the PS5 version. There was also a massive variation in the frame rate, like there were sections that were running at 80 frames per second and then there were other areas that were like below 30 frames per second. And I'm not entirely sure what was causing this. If you've got any ideas, let me know in the comments section below. But I am suspicious that it may partly be down to the anemic amount of VRAM that Nvidia gave this graphics card. Anyway, in my opinion, Silent Hill 2 is an example of a game that runs better on the PS5 than this PC, and that's probably down to optimization. And that does seem to be the trend with the PS5. Games just seem to work. And yes, in some cases you'll get higher frame rates, better visuals on the PC side of things, but if you're not too fussed about that and you just want the game to work and be enjoyable, then you can't really go wrong with the PS5. Another example where the PS5 version of the game feels like it's better optimized than the PC version is the new Oblivion remaster. And yes, the PS5 version isn't perfect, the frame rate is all over the place. But when I tried to play Oblivion on this PC, it was borderline unplayable. It was so stuttery and the frame rate was all over the place. Anyway, just to mix it up so you don't accuse me of PS5 favoritism, an example of a game that runs better on this PC than the PS5 is Elden Ring. Now I believe Elden Ring is capped at 60 frames per second, but on this PC I'm able to hold a stable 60 frames per second. But for some reason on the PS5 it fluctuates down to about 50-45 frames per second. So when it comes to playing Elden Ring, I'll definitely choose this computer over the PS5. So if I was to try and draw some sort of conclusion in terms of performance between the PS5 and the £400 gaming PC, I'd probably say if you buy a game for a PS5 you know it's going to run. It may not run perfectly, but it'll be an enjoyable experience. Whereas with the £400 PC, it's more of a mixed bag. In some games you'll get a way better gaming experience with better visuals, better frame rates than the PS5, but there are a handful of games that are just badly optimized for PC. So yeah, make of that what you will. Anyway, let's move on.
So next we're going to talk about the games, because that is the most important part of any gaming system.
So I am going to start off by saying that PC probably wins. There are a lot more games on PC. You can pretty much play the whole of the PS5's library on PC, minus a few. We're going to talk about those in a second. PC also has loads of exclusives, like a lot of the esports games tend to be exclusive to PC, such as CS, Dota. You can also do emulation on PC, so you can emulate GameCube games, PS1 games. There's just so many more games you can play. So in conclusion, in terms of games, I would definitely say the PC wins, except for in two situations. The first situation is that you want to play Bloodborne, which is a PS4 exclusive. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a PC port yet, but you probably could emulate it on PC if your PC is powerful enough. The second situation where the PS5 wins could be a deal breaker to a lot of people, and this is the fact that GTA 6 is coming out next year, and just like GTA 5 there's going to be a period of time where it's just going to be released on the Xbox and PlayStation 5.
So if you want to play GTA 6 on release day, then you're going to have to go with the PS5.
And finally, we're going to talk about extra features that both these systems can do outside of gaming. So this is another area where you may think the PC is the winner because it's a PC and it can do loads of other tasks, such as browsing the web, video editing, checking emails. But in my opinion, it's down to what you actually need the system to do. The PS5 is a good all-round entertainment system. As well as gaming, you can also watch Netflix, YouTube, even Spotify. So as long as you're not looking to do anything too creative with it, PS5 might be absolutely fine for your needs. The PS5 even has a VR headset, so you're not missing out on virtual reality. On the other hand, this is a PC that runs Windows, and you can do pretty much any PC thing with it. And on top of the superior software flexibility, there's also hardware flexibility. This PC has the ability to add extra monitors, and I could even go out and buy an ultra-wide monitor and it would still be compatible. On the other hand, with the PS5, you're stuck to a single 16:9 display.
So in conclusion, in 2025, should you go with a £400 PS5 or a £400 gaming PC?
So in my opinion, if you want a more casual gaming system that you can just hook up to your TV and sit on the couch and play with a controller, then probably go with the PS5. With the PS5, it will definitely be simpler just to download a game and play it. On the PC side of things, you have to tinker with drivers and all that nonsense. Also, if you go with a PS5, you can be certain that if you buy a game, it'll definitely run on the PS5, whereas that's not always the case on PC. And there is actually quite a lot of other stuff you can do with a PS5 other than gaming, and there are even a lot of PS5 games that will allow you to plug a mouse and keyboard into your PS5 and play it like a PC. And finally, one of the most compelling arguments for going with a PS5 over a PC is the fact that GTA 6 is initially only going to release on consoles, so you won't be able to play it on PC for at least the first year. On the other hand, there are a lot of people that will definitely prefer the PC. There's a larger game library, and there's just loads more you can do with a PC, such as video editing. You can even do your homework on it. And there's also the upgradability of PC, so let's say next year you want to upgrade the graphics card, that's completely possible, or the year after you want to upgrade the RAM or the CPU, you can do that. Whereas with the PS5, what you buy is what you have to stick with until the PS6 comes out. So anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed my video comparing the PS5 to an equally priced PC. And if you have enjoyed, be sure to drop us a like and consider subscribing. We've just hit 10,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing.
And let me know in the comment section below whether or not you would choose the PS5 or the PC, and I'll see everyone in my next video.